Hi everyone. It's been a while. Many of you know that I've been quite busy the last few weeks. About 2 months ago, I actually had a baby girl, and so I've been really busy with that. But because it's Yoga Month now, I wanted to actually begin a series talking about the significance of yoga and actually going beyond asanas. Okay, so many of you know that in 2019 I wrote a book called Beyond Asanas, and I have it right here with me. And this is probably my the best known work that I've done, and to this day people call me, reach out to me, email me about how this book has shed a lot of light on yoga, on the practice of yoga for them. And so this year I wanted to actually revisit this book and go chapter by chapter every day, talking about about why I chose to write a book called Beyond Asanas, and the different chapters in this book that show you how asanas, actually the practice of asanas can actually enable you to go beyond the asanas in yoga. Now, this is a very common thing. Everybody keeps saying, yoga is beyond the asanas. Yoga is more than an asana. And I always think, that it always seems to trivialize the practice of asanas. But most of us, for us, yoga is about the asanas. That is how we practice yoga. And that is our introduction to yoga. So it's not, in my opinion, right to sort of trivialize the practice of asana. Instead, can we look at how asanas themselves, and thinking a little bit more about the asanas themselves, how can that take us beyond the asana and make the practice of yoga, our practice on the mat, relevant and effective, like off the mat as well. So I'm going to be looking at every single chapter of the book, a chapter a day. So today's chapter in this book, in the book Beyond Asanas, for those of you who have just joined, the first chapter is about the Adho Mukha Svanasana, which is the downward dog pose. And what I've done in this book is actually tried to look at the mythology behind each asana. So all of us know that the Adho Mukha Svanasana, or the downward dog, it's great for your hamstrings, it's great for your calf muscles, it's a kind of inversion. Almost every yoga class that you attend anywhere in the world will have a downward dog incorporated into it. So what is the significance of Adho Mukha Svanasana? Let's begin with that. Why is there a pose in yoga named after a dog, and particularly the downward facing dog? Now, many of you might have seen a dog actually performing this posture. So there is a theory that a bunch of sages saw dogs, practicing this posture or being in this position, and then they incorporated it into yoga. Discovered the benefits and named it Adho Mukha Svanasana. But many of us don't know, and through my research I came across many stories about dogs in Indian mythology, in Hindu mythology, and I go through two of these stories in this book. So the first story that I talk about is called Finding the Holy Cows, and this story is about Lord Indra, and how he used to have these audiences in his kingdom. And one day a bunch of cowherds came to him and said, okay, we've lost our cows have been stolen, and we need your help to trace our cows and get them back so that we can continue to earn a livelihood. And Lord Indra, now he's the king of Indralok, and so he has to help these people who've come to him for help. And so he goes around trying to look for the cows. He enlists the help of many different people, resources that he has, but nobody is able to actually find these cows, until one day he says, okay, I'm going to see if a dog called Sarma can actually help me. And he reaches out to Sarma and said, okay, this is the issue. Nobody is able to trace these cows, so can you help? And because of his sense of smell, her sense of smell, Sarma is actually able to go and hunt for where these cows are hiding, where they've been hidden, and rescue these cows, and then restore them back to the cow herds, and life goes on. The dog Sarma has helped a king who has all the resources at his disposal, helped him fulfill this kind of promise that he had made to the cow herds. So this is the first story in which we see that a dog is actually significant, has actually helped a king fulfill a responsibility. So that is one story, the first story that I talk about. And for the details of the story, you have to look at the book. And then the second story I talk about, the second story is called A Constant Companion. And it's about how Yudhishthir actually, after the Mahabharata war, him and his brothers, the Pandavas and Draupadi, they're walking to heaven. And as they ascend the mountain from where they're going to be, taking a chariot to heaven, as they ascend, one by one, the Pandavas die, and eventually Draupadi also dies, and finally it's Yudhishthir that is left. And at the end of it, he sees Lord Indra's chariot that has come to pick him up, and Lord Indra says, okay, get in the chariot and let's go. And Yudhishthir said, okay, let's go, but there's this dog that I have that's been following me from the beginning, and I want him to also go to heaven with me. And Lord Indra said, well, dogs cannot come to heaven. And Indra says, no, because this dog has been with me when I've lost my brothers, I've lost my wife, he's been with me in sorrow, in pain, in happiness, all of that. He's seen me with, my brothers, he's seen me without my brothers, and he has been with me constantly. I cannot go to heaven and just leave him behind. And Indra says, okay, fine, that's fine, the dog can also come to heaven. And the moment that this happens, the dog actually turns into Dharma. So a dog in Indian mythology, in this particular story, also depicts Dharma. It's symbolic of Dharma. So, so these two stories actually demonstrate that dogs were really important in the olden times in the Indian culture. And the fact that these stories have been written, with the dog as a focal point, shows you how important they are, and helps you in understanding why we have a pose called the downward dog. So it's not only called downward dog because of the way the posture looks, but because dogs have played an important role in mythology. And from this, what we can understand is that just like this dog kind of followed Yudhishthir around, and Yudhishthir then eventually refused to let go of him, it shows how we should be towards our dharma. Dharma also for everybody attempts to follow you around, and if you let it, if you agree to sort of live with dharma, it can actually take you to heaven, or it can actually get you better things in life. So to read the stories in detail and to understand or to try to analyze what they mean to you, you have to read the book, you have to read it in detail. But what I have done in this book is actually talk about the significance and symbolism. And so I'm going to leave you with a little bit of the symbolism that I thought the downward dog posture has, and for the rest of it you can actually read the book. So what I have put in the book goes: while practicing the downward dog pose, meditate upon the strength and courage of a dog. To be loyal and faithful in today's world, we need to be strong in our relationships and have the courage to forgive. The decisions we make and the manner in which we conduct our lives should be reflective of this. So here, what I've done in this book is actually take a posture, deconstruct it in terms of mythology, of symbolism, also talk about like how to do the posture. And also I have amazing photos that I've taken in like this one is taken in Hampi, in a temple in Hampi, sort of connecting the historical, the mythical, the traditional aspect of the asanas to like what they symbolize, and what that means to the to practitioners. So that's what we're going to be, how I'm going to be talking about this book, about the asanas that I've covered in this book going forward. If you have any questions about this asana or any other asana, or if you have questions about how a particular asana, what it symbolizes, what it means to go beyond, the posture in that particular asana, let me know. And I'll try to look at it and tell you how it means, so how you can go beyond the asana in that particular asana. So here is the book again, Beyond Asanas. It's still available on Amazon. So today we discussed the first asana in the book, called Adho Mukha Svanasana, or Downward Dog. The stories are in the book. They're very interesting stories. So I urge you to buy the book and read the stories for yourself. Meanwhile, I hope this live has been valuable and interesting for you. And I will see you again tomorrow, hopefully at the same time, to talk about the next asana. So thank you for joining, and I will see you tomorrow.